Welcome back, QueenBeloved Family. Thank you so much to everyone that has joined the family, that has subscribed to our YouTube page. We are so glad to be sharing our journey and our walk with you. If you don't know who we are and you're just looking for some information, you're just like, who are these girls? Let me tell you a little bit more about who we are. We are a Christian platform. We make and share faith-based content. We upload every Wednesday and every Sunday. We're a sister duo, and we're really just very interested in building a community of women that we can share our journey with and we can learn from. So that we hope that our content really blesses you, encourages you, inspires you, challenges you, whatever that you really need. We hope that this is a well for you to take from. So let's get into tonight's topic. So please like, subscribe, share, because then the word just spreads. We need the word to reach the people, the more people, the better. So let's get into today's topic. I'm going to talk about my pregnancy journey. I was pregnant at 17, and I don't really think that this journey has been anything that I was embarrassed to share. I've always just been open to talk about it, but I think that I just more made light of the situation. I really spoke more about the highlights and the funny parts. I mean, we were raised by like my dad, how he found out. There's a lot of background, hilarious stories about my pregnancy, but I don't think that's tonight's topic. And I encourage you, if you're a mom that has a teenager, to just let them sit in and let them watch. It's not going to be graphic, it's going to be realistic, and I think it's going to be something that will help someone else. So let's get into it. I first want to tell you who I was before that test was glaringly like telling me that I'm pregnant, and really telling you who I was 2 weeks before that is not going to help. I mean, at that point, you can already tell that something was happening in this girl's life, because why is she pregnant? Today, I really just wanted to look back on the journey. And I don't think that I've sat and reflected. Even when I found out that I was pregnant, I didn't sit and reflect on how exactly did I get here. I've just never been a person that reflects on things. And I think you're going to see that shows up as a thread in the story. So right in the beginning, I was one of 4 children, 4 girls. I'm the third one. I had always just been the naughtiest one, the different one. It was just like, it's always me, like it's me. I just kept it coming and coming and coming. And everyone was just like, what is going on? So from a very, very young age, there was just always something happening around this girl that no one could figure out. But we grew up in a very normal, typical South African family. My mom was a teacher, my dad was in the army, and it was a normal, happy home. We did have problems, and I don't really want to go into those problems because it's not my story to share. It's a part of my story, but it's not really my story to share. But I just remember, even amidst those problems, like Zanele and I, we're just like oblivious. We were living our lives. We were playing. I mean, we would see things happening and we'd just be like, should we care? Should we play? Let's play. So we were just trapped in this happiness bubble. And I really thank God for it, because I think that what you will see in my character as we move along with the story is that, like I get touched like a lot. So, let's fast forward to when my mom passes away. So I was 9 years old, and we find out that my mom has passed, and I didn't really have any emotions at that point. I wanted to. I thought I should be feeling something at this point, but I just didn't have any feelings. I knew that something big had happened though, because my mom was like larger than life when I think about her now. She was larger than life, and not in the sense like her personality. She wasn't like the life of the party, but she had a presence about her. She was very strict yet very loving, and people felt that. And I don't know how she ever like managed to achieve that balance, but she did. And you could tell by the reaction from our church, because she was very active there. You could tell by the reaction at school when we went for her memorial service at the school that she used to teach. I've never seen anything like that. I think that day it sort of hit a little bit, and I felt something. And you could just feel the impact in our family, in church, in our community, even at school, because she just had that type of presence about her. And I just sometimes think about her in hindsight, and I think about all of the things that she managed to do. I mean, when I'm challenging myself to do a bit more, she managed to do so much more with the little that she had. She put her brothers and sisters through school, and like professional qualifications type of school. So she was the hope. And you could feel that something big had just happened with her passing. And I knew that something would change in my life. I just didn't know that the change would happen within me mostly. So we picked up the pieces, my aunts, my dad, my uncles, my sisters. We all still managed to be very happy, very close. My cousins. There wasn't really anything that was glaringly wrong with the situation. It was just a family that was trying to move on with life. And before my mom passed, she had just recently lost her dad and her sister, her younger sister. So, fast forward 6 years later, I'm about 14 now. My grand passes away. Then shortly after, my aunt passes away. And this is my mom's mom, my aunt, my sister's mom. And just it just kept coming and coming and coming. And I think that a lot of teenagers struggle with dealing with grieving, with reflecting, and then with healing. I don't think that children are really concerned about going through that. We just sort of keep it moving, we carry on. And every time that I would look up, I would think that, sure, like more change. My dad was very fortunate to meet a lot of good women that really touched my life in an amazing way. And they also passed, and it just kept coming. And I remember I felt like every time I looked up, my life was changing. But I didn't realize that the change was my perspective, because the loss that we were going through was affecting everyone. It was affecting my baby sister, my big sisters, my dad, my family, my cousins. But I didn't realize that what was changing in the situation was me, my outlook, my perspective. And perspective is reality. So how you are looking at the world and the feelings that you sort of invoke are invoked in you as you face life and you see things happening really is your reality, because at that point all you have is your perspective. And I could pick up a sense of I had really lost, I couldn't care. I tried to care about a lot of things, but I just couldn't. I had lost that grip on caring about myself. I really didn't find myself anything special. I just thought, whatever, it's whatever. I didn't care about school. I didn't care about authority. And most of the time, I think I found a little bit joy in challenging authority. I mean, I did it at home with my dad. And I would find myself holding on to a lot of things. I held on really tightly to friends. I held on really tightly to, like I said, my dad was very blessed and he made really amazing women to try and share his life with. And I think I held on to them. And I found myself in the habit of just not caring. I didn't care about my gifts, what I was good at. I didn't really take the time. I was just not interested. I just wanted to be over and done with. And I would have normal conversations with friends, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I would just sort of say whatever, but really, I didn't care. And a lot of what I found was that I was starting to get into the habits or the groove of escapism. So I would just normally, like on a normal day, just decide, like, I'm not living with my dad and my sisters anymore. Like, I'd just be like, cheers, bye. And like, thinking back now, I really didn't even care how it affected my sisters. They were probably just like looking at me like, wait, where do you live? I wasn't living out in the streets, but I'd just go visit a friend and never want to come home. I would go visit my stepmom and just never want to come home. I actually lived with her for like almost a year. And I think that somehow affected my sisters. But I think what's most beautiful that I still see now is that my sisters always, when I was back home, they just accepted me just as I am. They didn't judge or whatever, but I still felt like I just didn't want to face my life the way that it was. So the normal things, you just rebel against your parents and whatever and whatever and whatever until you meet a boy. And look, the reality is that I didn't give away anything that I didn't want to give away. So I don't want to come across as a victim in this situation. I feel as though I just found it too easy to just give freely to other people, that I didn't really take the time to think, you are worthy, you are worth waiting for, you are a gift, you are virtuous, there's something special about you. I just didn't have those feelings associated with my life at all. And I think that although it wasn't in God's will that I fell pregnant, I think God used my distraction phase in order to change me. He knew that in that stage where I fell pregnant, He let it happen so that I would finally have something to care about. And that's really where the transformation of my life began, was when I found out I was pregnant. I still didn't reflect. I still didn't deal and heal with all of the things. Why was I escaping from my home? Why was I escaping my reality, my life, and didn't want to face it? Why was I holding on to other people that were outside of my immediate family and just holding on and therefore being very hurt when they have to leave? And when I found out I was pregnant, that's when I really had to sit face to face with who I was and really ask myself questions like, where am I going? What do I want to do? The most part that I feel I regret, and regret without making it about my son, because he is the biggest blessing of my life. Like I said, God gave me my son so that I can have something to care about. But being a parent without even asking yourself if you want to be a mother, that's a big thing that you rob yourself of. And I robbed myself of that, amongst other things. Studying, just being able to experience a lot more about what life was really like without having a baby. That's a big, big decision to make, but not even being able to start at the beginning. Do I want to be a mom? I have friends that are not moms now because they've decided that I'm not ready to be a mom just yet. I maybe want to be a mom, but maybe in 5 years when I do this and when I do that. And I just didn't give myself that type of time to really sit with myself and find out, who am I? What do I like? I knew that I had to be successful in order to raise this little boy. But I was also still struggling to find who I was. What do I really mean to the world? Does anyone really care about me? Although I was surrounded with people that obviously cared about me. My sisters, they couldn't even judge me even when I fell pregnant. They were just like, oh my word, we are having a baby. And it's not because they were endorsing what I was doing, but I think it's because they had just had so much love and support to give me that it didn't really matter how far it stretched them, but they were going to give me that love and support irregardless. And when I was I was already married and I was really just struggling still with a lot of identity issues, with a lot of self-worth issues, just feeling like no good thing really happens to me, and just that victim mentality. The first time that I really felt the transforming power of the Lord was in 2014, when I decided to accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. I had grown up in a church. I had done pledges. You do the pledge when you're like 7, and then you do another pledge when you're like 14-ish. I had done all of those pledges, but I really didn't feel like God was a reality for me. I used to see my baby sister like sticking up little cute little prayers on her wall. We used to share a room, and she would have all of these prayers there, and I'd just be like, this girl needs to come back to reality. This is reality. Like, prayers and all of this stuff, spending your time praying, God, that is not going to do anything for her. because I had been in church. We had heard the same sermons, but just God was not a reality for me. And I really had to get to the place where God was a reality for me. And accepting Jesus was the first step. I felt like I was going back, but I needed to. Because when I accepted Jesus Christ, I really felt a sense of being reborn. And I know that we say you're born again when you accept Christ, but I really felt the transformation happen. I felt that because now I understand who made me, who created me, who set my path. I understand the type of grace that covered me. Even to be in the situation where I didn't care, I would have handed myself over into any situation. I would have handed myself over to friends who would have probably introduced me to drugs, but he didn't let that happen. He still kept me under his grace. And when I finally understood who that was, I got to understand who I was. And I wasn't driven now by the fact that I needed to provide for my son. I was driven by the fact that I have found my purpose and who I really was in him, despite what I had or what I didn't have. And the amazing grace of God is that even under all of those circumstances, my dad never threw me out. My sisters were my support system. Loa's father tried his best to make it work between us, but we were just like kids. Even then, the grace of God still shows up. Loa, he's 13 years old now, and he has not given me even an ounce of what I've given my dad, in terms of like just being like a child that is like out there. And I feel like the grace of God has covered me. And I want to encourage you, if you're a teenager watching this, spend time reflecting on who you are. But the only way that you're going to get to who you are is to find out who made you, what he says about you, what he thinks about you, the type of life that he has created, and the fact that it doesn't matter what you have done. He can take even the things that you have used to destroy your life, and he can take them to build you up again. Really sat through all of that loss. I wouldn't have gone through feelings of feeling like I want to escape my life. An escape in every sense of the word. I've tried to kill myself multiple times, and you just don't know where those feelings come from. But if you spend time getting to know who God is in your life, what he's created you for, there is so much more joy and peace, even in your mistakes, that you know that there is something else above this, beyond this, that is going to help someone else. And who knew that my disastrous decisions and my failings would somehow today encourage someone else to go back to the beginning, to start at the beginning and find out who you are in him. And I know that there will be a time where I share a little bit more. I mean, I go in depth about the actual pregnancy itself, which, by the way, by the grace of God, was a very easy pregnancy. I was running for the bus. Girl, I was working. I was doing everything that I needed to do. I didn't have any medical aid, but I wasn't sick. It was just amazing that I went through that quite easily. But that's a story for another day. Today, I just wanted to really encourage you, and even if you're an adult, you're not necessarily a teenager, to really reflect on your feelings and how things that are happening around your life are affecting you, because that counts. And if you find that your life keeps changing, maybe the thing that is changing is you. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to introduce my son to you in a moment. He's so handsome and I'm so proud of him. And he's a good boy. He drives me crazy sometimes, but he's generally just a good boy. So meet Lwandile. Guys, this is my baby. Say hi to the people.
Hi.
Hi the people.
Hi the people.
Say hi, introduce yourself, tell the people how old you are, how long we've been doing life together.
Hi, my name is Lwandile. I'm 13 years old.
And that's really it, eh?
Yeah,
And you're obsessed with soccer.
Yes, I'm very obsessed with soccer.
So guys, I'm glad that you could meet my son. He is really the reason that my life started turning around. So He's God's testimony that he can use even your path of destruction to build you up and to just make you something a little bit more than what you envisioned for yourself. Tell the people you love me.
I love my mom very much.
Okay, thanks guys. Please like this video, subscribe to our channel, comment and share. We'll see you at the next one.